Hello everybody, welcome back to 10 Minute Reviews. I'm Jason, bringing you today's episode. As always, please hit the like and subscribe buttons, guys. We're a small family channel just trying to do our passion, which is talking about books. So please support us. We'd love to keep doing this for years. We read a lot of books. So for today, I want to talk about an absolutely fantastic book. This is not in the vein of the lesser known authors that I usually talk about. As always, I'll talk about four things: the world, the characters, the plot, and the writing style. So today I want to talk about Ian M. Banks' Culture series, but I want to talk about one book in particular, Use of Weapons. Use of Weapons is, in my mind, the best culture book. He's got some fantastic books. Player Games is a really fantastic one as well. But Use of Weapons, absolutely my favorite one, because he talks a lot about how things can be affected differently when the culture goes away from kind of its core beliefs. So the world is extremely super far future, and it occurs where you've got this almost galactic power, an empire basically called the culture, and the culture is humanity, human based, but is in many ways it's a post-scarcity society, almost utopian. People don't have to work; they can do whatever they want. They live on utopian type planets or orbiting habitats. They do whatever they want, build whatever they want. They use AIs. AIs practically run everything because of how much better they are at administrative stuff. AIs are full citizens, and the culture is very peaceful. But it's also the most technologically advanced by such a massive order of magnitude that no other society within the galaxy can compete with them. They attempt mostly to leave the other societies alone, but they do interfere. This is not Starfleet. They are not operating under the Prime Directive. If they have disagreements with how a society is progressing, they will attempt to change things, but they don't do it via war. They usually try and do it subtly, try and change things slowly. But every so often you gotta strap on the gun. So that's where you get to the character. Now I'm not going to go into the character's name because names are a little bit changeable. Basically, this character is almost in a way, he's a secret agent with the culture. He's part of the culture's like intelligence arm almost, but he's more of their Jason Bourne. He's more of their infiltrator assassin type character. He comes from another society, not culture, where there was basically a war and almost basically a war of extermination, almost, or mutual extermination, that he still suffers a lot of PTSD from. A lot of PTSD. He's spent a lot of time. He's been injured a lot. He's had to heal. Or been healed. He's taken some massive damage in his life, but he is a master soldier. That's how he starts out, and that's how he kind of continues. He's basically a master soldier, which is where you get the use of weapons. He's one of the few that is just extremely dangerous. I mean, everybody in the culture is dangerous because of their technology level and their level of arrogance, really, their belief that they know better than everybody else and they can change, and they should change everybody else. But in this case, he is a weapon. That's all he is. So while the book is called Use of Weapons, mostly because he is a warrior in a culture that doesn't have warriors or doesn't believe in warriors, but in reality he is the weapon more than the actual weapons he uses. And that's where you get into the plot, because he's pulled along a couple different directions, and he's expected to do things a certain way within the culture, but he doesn't always choose to do so within the culture either. With the culture's beliefs, he will definitely do things his own way if it suits him, and sometimes it suits him, and it suits him a lot. And this book, like some of the other culture books, bounces back and forth in perspective a few times. There's just about every other chapter goes backwards. It's why this is considered one of the toughest culture books to turn into any kind of movie, because of how much it bounces back and forth, plus the twists that are in it would be very, very, very difficult to put in any kind of film. But mostly the back and forth, between time frames, between planets. Sometimes it's tough to read. Sometimes it's confusing. It's hard to figure out exactly what's going on, and the character, his past life has such a massive impact on his current life, his work for the culture, and what he ends up doing, and his goals, and what he wants, and what he's striving for, and what he's trying for. All of it is impacted so much by his past on this little, it was a feudal planet basically. He was almost like a feudal army lord or army leader. And just, I cannot recommend Use of Weapons enough. What is absolutely fantastic about the Culture series is almost every single book is a standalone in and of itself. You don't need to have read any of the other books to read Use of Weapons. Use of Weapons would be a fantastic starting off point. I personally would say start off and play your games, then do Use of Weapons, but they're not connected to each other. There's absolutely no need to read one before the other. And Use of Weapons, to my mind, absolute best culture book out there. The writing style, Ian M. Banks writes very, very well. His characters aren't super snarky. They do have some sarcasm from time to time, but it's most definitely warranted. His writing style, it's engaging, it's gripping. You get very, very interested in what's going on. His writing style is much more plot based than character based. Although this particular book is mostly a character story, although you don't realize it until the very, very end. But it is absolutely a character story, much more than a plot story. But Ian M. Banks tends to write better plot-wise. He's able to build worlds, he's able to build suspense, he's able to build twists. Some of them are kind of obvious, I'm not going to lie. I saw the twist in Player of Games. But his plots and these grand galactic schemes or planetary schemes, even just the games he was able to write, absolutely fantastic. So after you hit the like and subscribe button, if you have not checked out Culture before or read Ian M. Banks, and you're interested in this kind of science fiction, check out Use of Weapons in the Culture series. We'll catch you guys next time. Bye now.